Welcome to this edition of Week in Review. I'm so glad that you could make it to be with us, to learn about, what God has done for everybody that loves Him and follows Him. Pretty good idea to set your course towards Jesus. You can do that with Loma Linda Broadcasting Network. This is Week in Review, and we just like to start out with a verse of the day. Ganem Hannah is here to share that with you. Ganem?
Marlon, today's verse described in the Bible, build your house on the rock. It's in Matthew 7, verse 24. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on the house. But it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. There. You know, you've heard me a lot of times, I say Jesus is my rock. And this verse just connects with my life. We all have our experience with the Lord, with and without Him. And I tell you, without Him, I'm always slipping away from the rock and falling miserably in so many ways. But He is the rock. We hang on to Him during times of death, during times of illness and sickness, whether us or family members or friends. This life we live in, it's a very, very fast lane, Marlon, very fast moving lane. And with the rock, we can continue leading on with joy and love. We don't end up turning into monsters, but rather in a good, loving people who can reflect God's characters. And without Him, I'm not sure you want to be associated with me if He was not my rock. So I'm sure we can all relate to that, having Jesus as our rock through our lives.
You know, there's two parts to that story. Daryl, what is the other part?
Well, the other part was the house that was built on the sand that didn't last. Sand is shifty.
Sand is shifty. Mm-hmm. And your walls can be shifty. And without
Yeah,
Jesus as the rock, as Ganem identified Him.
I bought a house one time and didn't really look at those particular aspects of it. And after I got the house, I noticed that towards the center of the house, it was sagging. It was like this. Mm. And so I dug down around. I was like, man, are the foundations sinking? Got down there. There was no foundation. It was built on clay. And I had to have foundations put in. And if I hadn't, that house eventually would have just split. Yeah. So that was an example to me right there of what this meant. And your house is what you live in. That's your abode.
That's right.
And if that's your life. Mm-hmm. And if that doesn't have a good foundation under it, your whole life collapses.
Bob?
My view is a little different, a little bit more down to earth, though, especially now at this time of year in January. That verse says to me, stick to your firm foundation at a time when there is so much strife, so much challenge, so many things happening that can perhaps force you to sway off the firm foundation.
I think it was said well by everyone, Marlon. It's just holding Jesus as the rock. It builds your home, it builds your business, it builds your spirit, who you are, it builds your relationships. It's just a win-win situation all the way. Why live without the rock when you can have the rock and put your whole life in order?
Well, thank you for sharing that insightful verse with us, Ganem. And I want to switch subjects here a little bit and talk to you about a very special Christian Connections that ran last week. And Bob is here to give us the details of why you don't want to miss it, Bob.
Well, it's a fascinating show, and here I am talking about different parts of the world. And Christian Connections, which will be seen at 6:30 today, Pacific time, focuses on LLBN's efforts in South Asia, and in particular, our channel, LLBN SA. We have as our special guest and unique guest, Mr. Wesley James. He is the director of LLBN SA. He has just returned from that part of the world. Billions of people populate there, and if you've ever been interested in countries like the subcontinent of India or Sri Lanka, Nepal, Myanmar, all of these areas are served by LLBN South Asia. I think you'll enjoy it. Check it out, 6:30 this evening, Pacific Time, on LLBN.
Up next, Daryl is going to share with us the truth about your favorite programs. If the schedule changes, will you have to look for new times? Daryl, fill us in about the changes coming in the schedule.
Well, we do have some changes up and coming. There are a lot of programs that sometimes people don't know about, that they skip by or just aren't on LLBN at the time when those air. I would suggest going to our website, llbn.tv, and just download the schedule or look at it online and see what's there that you don't recognize, that you haven't seen before. Take a look at it, and you might find some very enjoyable programs, such as Flame of Truth with Dan Smith. Every day, Sunday through Friday, early in the morning, and then later on in the day, you can start your day off with that. It gives you, we were talking about a foundation. This is part of the foundation for the day that I think is actually a very good start for your day.
As a matter of fact, I start my day every day watching Flame of Truth.
Really?
Pastor Dan Smith does an excellent job. He recorded those series years back. I believe it starts at 6. Can't remember if it's 5:30 or 6, but
It's on the screen.
yeah, check. Thank you. But it's a good program to start your day.
It is. And then another program, actually, that will be on this afternoon at the time on your screen that you won't want to miss is Searching for Answers. It's a great show. It's hosted by John Jones. And it goes through the Bible verse by verse. There are tidbits out of these verses that a lot of us don't pick up. And these folks on this show are experts on this. They've spent a lifetime studying and teaching Bible, and they come up with a lot of little tidbits that can really add to your own study of the Bible.
Thank you, Daryl. And now, here's Ganem with a building update. Ganem.
Well, Marlon, we had good positive meeting with the city of Loma Linda this week. We are moving forward. We're going to be submitting. Now we're in the phase where we would be submitting our plans here in the next few weeks. The architect working on refinements and changes to meet the code. But we're excited because I think we made it past the hardest part of the entire process, and you're going to start seeing some things happening in the next few months. So there's going to be a whole new building here next door. LLBN is growing. This growth was long overdue. May not be done till midsummer, late summer, fall, but it doesn't matter. At least we are moving forward. Thank you to those who've been helping us to send money for the building. Money still needed. Once we build the building, there's going to be need for equipment and furniture and supplies. But we're taking one step at a time, walking in the Jordan River one step at a time. The Lord splitting the river for us, and as He did with everything else, and we're going to start somewhere and end somewhere with it.
Any final words on the building project, Ganem?
No, pray for us. Send your support. Watch. We're going to put a camera on that construction site so you have a live stream. You can watch everything. We probably start with the blueprints and the images and notes to actual construction, step by step, and completion. And then we will give those of you who doesn't live in the longer area a tour once the place is open. We'll probably have an hour special to give a complete tour to our viewers.
Okay, thank you for that report, Ganem.
You're welcome.
I just want to engage Ganem. Let's try Daryl
Yeah,
here.
enough of Ganem.
So we could talk about
Enough of me.
the LLBN app. Have you seen it? Have you used it? Give us a report on that LLBN app, Daryl.
Oh, it's a great way to to get on and very quickly get to the channel that you want to watch, His Word that you're watching right now, His Light, any of the foreign channels, Smart Lifestyle TV. It's just one click away. Just go to the app, opens up, you click on the channel you want, and it just starts playing. Very quickly, it's a simple, easy way to watch what you want on the run.
Well, one quick thought for the older folks who have not been too familiar how to set that up. Just call your son-in-law, your grandson. Believe me, they'll know how to get that app loaded on your phone.
Right.
You can rent a millennial. I'll rent out mine. He'll tell you how to do it.
I got neighbors knocks on my door, Mr. Hanna, can you help us? We heard you talk about it. Yes, absolutely. You can ask someone and they will help you do it. It's easy, it's free, and it can be done.
We also explain it on our website, though, too, www.llbn.tv. There is an explanation of how to download it. By the way, it's free, no charge. And it allows you to take LLBN with you wherever you take your phone.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate the information. In fact, it's now time for the letter of the week.
Oh, the letter of the week. Well, this is a very special one, by the way. This is the first letter we received with a donation as of the new year, January 2nd. And it comes from one of our good friends right here in Loma Linda. Her name is Esther, and she said, "Bless your ministry. It's challenging and very important to her for her viewing." So we want to thank you, Esther, the first one out of the gate. And we have more coming. And if you have any thoughts or would like to write us, please do so. I promise you they will be read.
Thank you, Bob.
Marlon?
Well, don't forget to share the website with your friends, your neighbor, your family. You can have 24 hours live programming on LLBN anywhere in the world. Plus, there's VOD. All of your favorite programs that you can just click on and watch over and over and over again. Ganem mentioned Dan Smith, and man, he is wonderful. That's why people like his message. You also will find other people that you will meet for the first time. We have a number of new programming that's coming up that Daryl has talked about, and we'll be talking about it more on another edition of Week in Review here at the Loma Linda Broadcasting Network.